guys, it's Elizabeth from Elizabeth Books, and I'm here today to do the opposites book tag. So this is a lot of fun. It's just basically books that are opposites and they're just for questions, and I will jump right into it. So the first one is the first book in your collection / the last book you bought. So this is probably one of my first books. It's A Taste of Blackberries by Doris Buchan-Smith. I read this in like 2nd grade, so I've had it a long time. And I really enjoyed this book. It's very sad though. I don't know why I was allowed to read it in like 2nd grade because it's full of tears. Then one of my newest books is All the Right Places by Jennifer Niven, and I'm reading this one right now and it's pretty good. I'm actually really enjoying it, and look at the inside of it. Oh my gosh, it's so cute. Look at it. I don't know. I think it's really cute. And yeah. I'm liking it so far. Next is a cheap book / an expensive book. So my cheap book is Wonder by R.J. Palacio, and my friend actually got this book for me, so it was free for me, but it only cost her like $1 because it was at a garage sale. So yes, it's a pretty cheap book. And an expensive book, I'm going to go with All the Light We Cannot See by Anthony Doerr. Yes, and this was like $17.99, $18.99 at Barnes & Noble, so that's pretty expensive. I shouldn't have bought it, but I really want to read it, so yeah. Number 3, a book with a male protagonist and a book with a female protagonist. The protagonist is Bobby Pendragon from the Pendragon series, and he is just an awesome, like, male protagonist, and I really enjoy that. I really enjoy reading his books. And I'm on the 7th one still. I haven't read the series since like November, so I really need to pick up the next book. And a really good female protagonist, in my opinion, is Selena from the Throne of Glass series by Sarah J. Maas, and I'm so excited for the 4th book that comes out in like, what, September, I think, and the cover's so pretty, and I'm so excited to keep reading this series. Next is a book you read quickly and a book that took you a long time to read. So books I read quickly are like romance books, contemporary books, so I'm going to pick Hopeless by Colleen Hoover. I flew through this in a few hours on a road trip in the car, and I just remember I really enjoyed it, and the lights were going off, like it was getting dark in the car, and I was like, I have to finish this book, it's so good. And a book that took me forever, I'm going to go with the first book in the Game of Thrones series. I guess it's called A Game of Thrones in the Fire and Ice series or whatever. Is that what it's called? I think so. By George R.R. Martin. That one took me like 3 months to read. But then the 2nd and 3rd book only took me like a week, both. So, I don't know. The first book took me like 3 months though. So, I'm going to go with that one. Then it's a pretty cover versus an ugly cover. So my pretty cover is Anne of Green Gables by Ellen Montgomery. This cover is so beautiful. It's the Puffin Flower edition, and I want to collect like every book that's in this edition because they're so pretty. And an ugly book to me is Catalyst by Laurie Halse Anderson. I just hate this cover. I don't like orange, and I don't like, I don't know, this eyeball is just gross with this orange, and I mean, this is a good cover for the book, but I've just always been turned off by this cover. Next is a national book / an international book, and I wasn't sure if that was like a book that took place in your country and then one that wasn't, so I'm gonna go with that. So for national, I'm gonna go with Amy and Roger's Epic Detour because it goes all around America, so that's pretty national, right? I think. And international, I'm going with Peter Pan by J.M. Barrie because that took place in England, which is international, right? Am I doing this right? Yeah, gonna go with this. Next is a thin book versus a thick book. So my thin book is these Amelia notebooks. This one's Amelia Lends a Hand. They're just really short, tiny little notebooks, and I enjoy them. They're from like my childhood. And a bigger book is Heir of Fire by Sarah J. Maas, which is the 3rd book in the Throne of Glass series. Game of Thrones and stuff is bigger, but those are all on my Kindle, so, you know, they don't look very big if I hold up a Kindle. So, this one's pretty big. Then is a fiction book / non-fiction book. So, here's a fiction book. It's Shatter Me by Tahar Mafi. Very fictional. Yes, nice cover. And for nonfiction, I don't really own any nonfiction books, but I'm going to show you a cookbook. This is Vegan Cooking for Carnivores. The food in here is super good. I'm not even vegan, but I eat vegan meals sometimes out of this cookbook. And it is forward and afterward by, Ellen DeGeneres and her wife, Portia de Rossi, and they are smart people, so read this book. I really like it. It's very good. Then is a romantic book and an action book. So romantic, I'm going with Ugly Love by Colleen Hoover. I mean, it's not really that romantic. It kind of is. I don't know. It just depends. It just popped in my head. It's an ugly love, though. Colleen Hoover, though. She writes some pretty good romance. They're all kind of sad, though. They are. None of them are very happy. Yes. And an action book, I'm going with Full Tilt by Neil Shusterman, and this one is just full of action and carnival rides and fun, and I really enjoy it. And if you guys have been watching me, how have you not read this book yet? I mention it like so much. You should read it. It's super good. I love it. Yay. And finally is a book that made you happy versus a book that made you sad. So a book that made me very happy was Fangirl by Rainbow Rowell. I just instantly when it said a book that made me happy, I thought of this one. It is so good. It made me so happy. And I want to own it in all of the new covers, even though I don't need them, but I just want to own it. And I'm super excited for Carry On. It's going to be super good. And yeah, and a book that made me sad was Elsewhere by Gabrielle Zevin. It's just a book about when you die, kind of what happens to you. And it was just very, it's just something to think about, and it made me kind of sad and opened up my mind a lot about what could happen. I don't know. It's just, and there's the part where a dog died, and dogs dying just make me cry. But yeah guys, that was the Opposites book tag. Thank you guys so much for watching. Bye guys.